We are living through a silent pandemic, not one spread by touch or breath, but by sound. It feels harmless, productive, normal, but the damage doesn't scream, it erases. The World Health Organization warns over 1 billion young people are at risk, but this isn't just about hearing. The same damage scaling sound may be stressing your heart. Welcome to the AirPods era.
It's a crisis playing out not in the roar of machinery or the din of battlefields of old, but in the private, immersive soundtracks of our daily lives. From the morning commute to the late-night study session, we have enveloped ourselves in a personalized bubble of sound, courtesy of sleek, noise-isolating earbuds. The convenience is undeniable, but it comes with a hidden, insidious cost: the systematic destruction of our hearing, a process so gradual we often don't notice until it's too late. The World Health Organization has sounded a global alarm, warning that over 1 billion young people are at risk of permanent noise-induced hearing loss due to unsafe listening practices. The physics are terrifyingly simple. Sound is measured in decibels, dB. A normal conversation sits around 60 dB. City traffic can hit 80 dB. Exposure to 80 dB for 8 hours is considered the upper safe limit, but a personal audio device at maximum volume can blast sound directly down your ear canal at a staggering 100 to 110 dB, a level comparable to a jackhammer or a rock concert. At this intensity, safe exposure time collapses from hours to mere minutes. The danger is amplified by the very design of modern earbuds. Their noise isolation seals out the world, which in noisy environments like subways or gyms tempts users to crank the volume even higher to drown out ambient sound. The result is a perfect storm of acoustic trauma. Inside your inner ear, in the cochlea, lie thousands of microscopic hair cells. These are not cells that regenerate, they are a finite biological resource. A sudden, extreme noise can shear them off like a field of wheat in a storm. But more commonly, it's the sustained, high-volume assault from our playlists and podcasts that slowly, relentlessly overloads and kills these delicate sensors. Each dead hair cell is a tiny pixel gone dark in the intricate picture of sound. High-frequency sounds are lost first, the chirp of birds, the consonants in speech, making words sound muffled. Then the loss deepens and widens. This isn't just about turning up the TV, it's about the slow dimming of one of our most vital connections to the world, and sensory erosion we have mistaken for a simple side effect of modern life. And as the science is now revealing, this erosion in our ears may be sending tremors directly to the very core of our physical being, our heart. To understand the profound link between the ear and the heart, we must journey into the astonishing, fragile anatomy of our inner ear. The cochlea, the spiral-shaped organ of hearing, is not just a passive microphone. It is one of the most metabolically active and exquisitely vascularized structures in the entire human body. It demands a constant, rich, and perfectly regulated supply of oxygenated blood to function. This blood is delivered by the labyrinthine artery, a tiny terminal branch of the brain's blood supply. This artery is essentially a microscopic mirror of your body's larger vascular system. Its walls are just as sensitive, its lumen just as vulnerable. The theory, known as the cardiovascular link hypothesis, posits that the health of this microvessel reflects the health of your macrovessels, your coronary arteries, your carotid arteries, your aorta. If you have early signs of systemic cardiovascular disease, stiffening arteries, microinflammation, endothelial dysfunction, the large vessels might still be able to compensate, showing no obvious symptoms, but the delicate, hair-thin vessels of the inner ear, with their extreme demand for precision, are often the first to fail. They are the canary in the coal mine for your circulatory system. Reduced blood flow, ischemia, or toxic byproducts in the blood from poor cardiovascular health can silently damage the hair cells and the auditory nerve long before you ever feel chest pain. This means hearing loss may not just be a parallel symptom of heart disease, it may be one of its earliest clinical warning signs, a sentinel whispering of trouble in the pipeline years before a major cardiac event. The damage from loud noise compounds this viciously. The acoustic trauma that kills hair cells also creates a local inflammatory cascade and generates destructive free radicals, placing an even greater metabolic strain on an already vulnerable blood supply. Thus, the hearing loss we see in the AirPods generation isn't merely a mechanical injury from sound waves. It is likely the complex endpoint of both direct acoustic assault and the silent systemic stress placed on a frail, critical vascular highway deep within our skulls. The connection between the ear and the heart, however, is not solely a story of delicate arteries and damaged cells. It is also a profound psychological and neurological tale. Hearing is our primary social sense. It is the conduit for conversation, for laughter, for the subtle tones of empathy and connection. When that conduit degrades, the consequences ripple through every aspect of human life. Hearing loss is intensely isolating. Straining to follow conversations in noisy rooms becomes exhausting, leading to what audiologists call listening fatigue. Social gatherings transform from sources of joy into arenas of anxiety and frustration. The instinct over time is to withdraw, to avoid the embarrassment of mishearing, of asking what too often, of laughing at the wrong time. This social withdrawal is a direct path to loneliness and depression, both of which are now unequivocally recognized as potent, independent risk factors for cardiovascular disease. But the strain goes deeper. The brain must work overtime to decipher incomplete auditory signals, a phenomenon known as cognitive load. Resources that should be available for memory, executive function, and situational awareness are perpetually diverted to the exhausting task of filling in the auditory blanks. This constant, low-grade neurological effort creates a state of chronic mental stress. And here, the biochemical pathways to heart disease become clear. Chronic stress activates the sympathetic nervous system, flooding the body with cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones, over time, increase blood pressure, promote inflammation, encourage the buildup of arterial plaque, and make the blood more prone to clotting. Furthermore, the depression and anxiety that often accompany hearing loss are associated with poorer health behaviors, reduced physical activity, unhealthy diets, and decreased medication adherence. Therefore, the young adult who loses their hearing from unsafe headphone use isn't just facing a future of quieter rooms. They are unwittingly embarking on a path that increases their systemic inflammation, elevates their blood pressure, and heightens their risk of hypertension, atherosclerosis, and ultimately heart attack and stroke. The heart suffers not just from a potential lack of blood flow to the ear, but from the profound psychological burden of a world growing quieter and more distant.
The narrative of the AirPods era need not be a deterministic march toward deafness and disease. It is instead a powerful call for auditory mindfulness and a radical rethinking of our relationship with personal sound. The first and most critical intervention is volume control. The 60-60 rule is a vital guideline. Listen at no more than 60% of maximum volume for no longer than 60 minutes at a time. This simple habit creates crucial recovery periods for your inner ear. Technology itself can be harnessed as a guardian. Most smartphones now have built-in features to monitor safe listening levels and warn you when you exceed them over a 7-day period. Use them. Let your device be a coach, not just a conduit. In noisy environments, consider switching from noise-isolating earbuds to high-quality, over-ear noise-canceling headphones. Active noise cancellation electronically neutralizes ambient sound, allowing you to hear your audio clearly at a much lower, safer volume without having to overpower the world around you. This single swap can be one of the most protective changes you make. Furthermore, treat your hearing with the same preventative care you give your teeth or eyes. Regular hearing checkups, especially for anyone who frequently uses headphones, can establish a baseline and detect early, subtle losses before they become profound. This is not paranoia, it is prudence. Protecting your hearing is also an act of protecting your social and cognitive vitality. By preserving your ability to engage effortlessly with others, you defend against the isolation and stress that tax the heart. Think of every responsible listening choice not as a limitation on your enjoyment, but as an investment in a richer, more connected, and healthier future. A future where you can still hear the laughter of friends, the nuances of music, and the quiet, steady rhythm of your own healthy heart. The story of hearing and heart health is a parable of connection, both biological and social. It reminds us that the human body is not a collection of isolated systems, but an exquisitely integrated whole, where a change in one delicate sense can alter the fate of our most vital organ. The research linking hearing loss to cardiovascular disease compels us to view tinnitus, muffled speech, and social withdrawal not as mere inconveniences of aging or technology, but as potential flashing lights on our body's central dashboard. For the medical community, this link suggests that a hearing test should be considered a routine part of cardiovascular risk assessment, and conversely, that patients presenting with unexplained hearing loss, especially at younger ages, should be evaluated for underlying vascular health. For all of us, it is a mandate to listen differently, to listen to our body's warnings, to listen at safer levels, and perhaps most importantly, to remember to listen to the world without a filter, to the sounds of nature, of human voices in real space, of quiet itself. In an age of curated digital soundscapes, we must fight to preserve the fidelity of the organic one. By doing so, we do more than save our hearing. We safeguard the channels of human intimacy that protect us from loneliness. We reduce the chronic stress that corrodes our arteries, and we nurture the holistic health that keeps a heart strong. The AirPods era has given us the gift of a private world of sound. The responsibility of this era is to ensure that this private world does not become a silent, solitary cage, but remains a choice, one we can safely turn off, to remain vitally, audibly, and cardiovascularly connected to the shared world around us.